Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for day one of match play at the 2021 USBC Masters taking place at the famed National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV and USBC Communications, and we've had one heck of a day so far. We have 16 players who are done for the day, 2-0 in their matches in the winner's bracket. So a lot of excitement already here today. But now, unfortunately, the rough part of this event, and once we get to the double elimination match play bracket, is we have to start eliminating folks. We're going to have 2 rounds back-to-back here of elimination matches. So by the end of the day, we're going to have 16 winners and 16 players in the elimination bracket. 32 players are going to be left in this Masters field. So we're cutting half of it in the next 2 rounds. So this is for the folks who are bowling this first round. This is where the long journey begins. It's going to take 8 matches, 8 consecutive wins now to get to TV on FS1 on Sunday. So that is what these competitors have in front of them if they want to win this title in 2021. Some of those folks in this round include the defending champion, Jacob Buttriff, and Jason Belmonte, the 4-time winner, both in this first match after first-round losses earlier today. Before we get to the lanes, let's bring in a few of our co-hosts here on the Bowl TV team. First, Matt Cannizzaro. Matt has been here checking it out. Matt, this is when it starts to get rough. You got that one match in your pocket. You know, if things don't go your way, if you have a rough draw, a bad look, just don't throw it well. You always have that one mulligan, if you will, here at the Masters. But right now, it's do or die for all these players.
It's a crunch time, and as you said, it's a very, very long road. But somebody will emerge from this elimination bracket at some point. Multiple somebodies to make it to TV. So, while it's a long track, it will be very earned, and no doubt there'll be some drama along the way.
All right, folks, we have 8 channels with 9 matches going on at the moment in our extra channel navigation here on BowlTV.com. So plenty of matches to choose from. But once again, we had something cool happening down on the low end of the house. So we're going to bring that in right now because the intrigue is always going to be there, Matt. And there he is.
Just a reminder, if you are the
Jason Belmonte, an incredible match with Tim Foy earlier today with an incredible ending, a chance to lock it up. Belmo is unable to do so, leaving a PBA washout, a 5 count, only getting 2 to give Tim Foy the opportunity to double to get the win. Tim did that.
Good luck and good score.
And now Belmo, the long journey. He's going to take on Brad Miller. This matchup all the way down on lanes 5 and 6. So once again, this is going to be the only channel where you can get this matchup. We will be bringing you updates throughout the rest of the competition across the entire 78 lane center. And the matches that you can watch at the moment on lanes 39 through 42, we have Darren Tang taking on Todd Piercy Scott. On 45 through 48, a pair of lefties, Gary Faulkner Jr., our top overall qualifier, and Matthew Russo. On lanes 49 through 52, Barry Slater taking on Anthony Lavery Spar. Another great matchup on 50, our lanes 55 and 56. USBC Hall of Famer Steve Klompkin taking on Kyle True. On lanes 57 through 60, Nick Pate against Wes Malott. Jerry Mars and Chris Sloan on 63 and 64. Marshall Kent and Matthew Zweig on 67 and 68. And then a pair of matches on our final channel. Justin Beach against PWBA Tour superstar Maria Jose Rodriguez. And then Jason Sterner against David Haynes. So in total, 10 matches being shown here at the NBS. So big thanks to Mike Flanagan of Inside Bowling for the camera shot here and running some wire. It's now hardwired, so we are off the Wi-Fi. So we should have a pretty good shot of this game throughout the course of it. So A big thanks to Mike and, of course, Jason Thomas as well. Live scoring once again available for everybody to follow all the matches. We'll drop that in the chat right now. And we'll drop the bracket in there for you to take a view and see some of the upcoming matches. And see who's already done the tough work of going 2-0 so far today. And we'll be back on the lanes tomorrow morning. Currently in the winner's bracket. We will list off the matches here that will begin at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. local time in Reno tomorrow. Mitch Hoope, who made the show in 2019, taking on the young superstar, 18-year-old Spencer Robarge, who flirted with perfection in his last win against Ildemaro Ruiz, 288, here at the NBS. Kim Bolivar and Zeke Bate will be facing off as well. EJ Tackett against Toby Sam Bueno. And then a premier matchup, Jesper Svensson against Anthony Simonson. Should be an excellent one to kick things off tomorrow. Looking at the right side of the bracket now, Chris Prather against Thomas Larson. Both of those guys averaged 230 plus over the course of the day. We're looking forward to seeing that one as well. High scores from both. AJ Chapman against Stu Williams. Tim Foy, who had two close matches against first Belmo and then Chris Fye. He's going to take on Sam Cooley. And then AJ Johnson against Chris Barnes, who had an epic comeback, including a trip six pin to make a double in the 10th to shut out Norm Duke in the last round. It was something else, folks. Right now, those folks hopefully enjoying a nice meal, getting some rest. Because they have earned it. It's been tough out there, folks. 40-foot condition. 30 mils, they're soupy, but a different look now that qualifying is over. Players getting to stay on the pairs. 15 minutes of practice to kind of get comfortable as well. And we saw the scoring pace go up as not only a couple of the players, but Nick Hoagland also predicted when we had him on the broadcast. So that's the recap we're looking at here for the winner's bracket. We ran down a lot of the matches here on the elimination side. A few of them that we do not have cameras on include PJ Haggerty against Jacob Buttriff on 9 and 10, Cameron Crowe against Dallas Leong on 13 and 14, Matthew Hanrahan against Kyle Sherman on 17 and 18, Zach Tackett against Callum Bork, 31 and 32, and then Dom Barrett against Michael Tang on 35 and 36. In this matchup between Belmo and Brad Miller, really a roller coaster for both of them in their opening round matches. The Belmo match has been highly documented already. Was up by nearly 70 after game number one. with Tim Foy shooting 147, Belmo in the two teens. But game two went south for Belmo. One strike, it was on his fill ball as he was in the 160s. Tim put together some late strikes and made up quite a few of the pins to make it close. I believe just 12 pins heading into the final game. And then Belmo with the opportunity to lock out Tim Foy, stepping up first in the 10th, needing just good count to get the job done. Left a 5-count washout, which turned into him having to make it first and foremost to shut out. He got 2, giving Tim the opportunity to throw a double at 8. Foy stepped up through all 3 in the 10th to win by 3, 588 to 585. We talked to Tim right after the fact, and he said the way they broke him down made him ugly for both of them, but Tim was able to find those hits. Belmo made a big jump left, threw some big shots, but that errant shot in the 10th has him here against Brad Miller for Brad. Found himself down about 40 to 50 against Chris Vi in his first match. Made up the difference in game 2, but then Vi started off with 6 consecutive strikes to create some distance. Brad unable to get things going in that final game. Chris Vi went on to win to set up this matchup here. Miller now with 4 in a row. Belmo stepping up 6th frame, looking for his first double. Once again, attacking the lanes a little bit straighter. Similar to what we saw his plan of attack was in that matchup against Foy. Before making a couple of moves in game 2. It was a couple of moves left, 1 or 2 right, a couple of ball changes before he finally settled on making the big jump. Getting closer to 5th arrow than the track area. To make for our exciting finish here on Bowl TV. Taking a quick look in the chat. You know what? A good question from Henry about the format. If you're unfamiliar with it, because it is unique, especially out on the EBA Tour, the double elimination format. So leading up to the stepladder finals, all competitors who advance to the bracket essentially have a match in their back pocket. So we have 2 brackets. We have a winner's bracket and an elimination bracket. So if you lose a match along the way in the winner's bracket, you are sent to the elimination bracket. Once you lose twice, you are completely eliminated from the event. So as we mentioned, 64 players made the bracket. By the end of today, only 32 will still be in the tournament. So we're going to eliminate 32 people who are going to have their second loss today. That will change once we get to the televised final. It will be a stepladder final. And change to 1-game elimination matches. For the folks in this round, talk about how many games you'd have to win to make it to the stepladder finals. You have to win 8 in a row, by my count, including in the final match, which is always exciting. The way it works out, we have our 1 and 2 seeds from the winner's bracket, so whoever wins the right side of the bracket and whoever wins the left side of the bracket meet in the middle. They have their own match The winner of that is the top overall seed and just has to win one game on TV to claim the Masters title here in 2021. The loser of that match is the 2 seed. But at the very end, we have a 4-player match, 3-game total pinfall similar to these, with 3 of the players advancing. So you just got to be in the top 3. The player who leads that will be the 3 seed. The second highest score will be the 4 seed. The third highest will be the 5th seed. And unfortunately, someone will be oh so close to the TV show, but have to be eliminated there in 6th place. And that excitement will be here tomorrow. Question from Sharon about Norm. Norm's going to be up next round. Since he won his first match, he is not on the lanes right now. So all the players bowling right now lost the earlier match, or lost their first match, I should say. Since Norm won a match, he's going to be off till the next round. Excellent shot in the 8th from Belmo. Finds himself down 27 overall at the moment here in game 1 of 3. Brad Miller working in a 4-bagger middle of the match. Both players clean so far. With that nice stretch in the middle of the game, the difference so far, and the advantage for Miller. Nick Pate, a chance to put up a big game against Wes Malott over on 59 and 60. Stepping into the 10th, he will have an opportunity to shoot 270. Belmo connects for his first double. Malott in the books at 218 in that matchup. Henry with a follow-up in the chat. And the advantage is just less games to get to the top. The longer you stay in the winner's bracket, you continue to move up the standings and closer to the TV show. If Brad or Belmo, obviously both of them can't. One of them is going to be eliminated here. But the wear and tear is going to be the difference. Obviously, these players are used to the long days, used to a lot of games. But as we mentioned, Tim Foy, for example, who beat Jason Belmonte, if he wins his next 3 matches, he's going to be on TV. For Belmo or Brad, they have to win the next 8 matches. So there lies the difference. As far as the wear and tear, so potentially 5 extra matches under your belt, 15 extra games. Across the way. And the crazy part about, needing 8 wins in this format, obviously, we've seen the flows that can happen. We can see what we can see it. We know the story. You can win with 550. You can lose with 750. That's just all part of the excitement, the craziness of a 3-game, total pinfall match. You can be up 50, 60 pins. See that go away. We saw Barnes make up nearly 40 pins in that final game against Norm Duke. Against Norm Duke, people. That just never happens. But you have the opportunity to take advantage of it. And one person who I know enjoyed that last matchup, Jason Thomas. Let's bring him into the broadcast here as we get ready for Belmo's 10th frame. Brad with 220 in game number 1. What's up, JT?
That's a scary shot there, Aaron Smith.
I wasn't prepared for that either. I thought we were going to the other view, but we got our close-ups out of the way quickly.
Well, that's good. Just looks like Belmo's going to go with the urethane, huh?
It seems similar to what we saw last time, and I guess we saw it looked like Brad made a ball change there toward the end of the game. But after seeing the path he took in game 2 yesterday, I would think he would, or earlier today. Did I say yesterday? I might have said yesterday.
I know what you meant.
But the trouble he saw in game 2, and obviously Tim said that they did a terrible job of breaking them down, and they got really ugly really quick. But yeah, how does he avoid this here? He's going to put together a nice game. He's going to be ahead in this match, but how does he avoid the mistakes from last time?
Yeah, I mean, he is. He's got to avoid those mistakes. I mean, the mistake he made in that last match is something he's going to do once in 20 years. I mean, it's not. It was just completely shocking. But he clearly doesn't have the look that someone like Chris Prather has this week. Chris Prather's actually got a good ball reaction. And I actually think Belmo was probably pretty happy with how that last match went, other than the finish. I think again, he gets 8 on that first shot in the 10th, and that match is over. So I really think for him, this urethane play from out, he probably feels like this is his best option with what he's seen here all week. And compared to someone like a Chris Prather or Thomas Larson, who just whacked him, both of those guys just whacked him today. He really hasn't found anything that's been great for him at all this week. So he's going to try to win ugly.
226 to 220. Belmo with a 6-pin lead here as we get underway in game 2. This is one of the quicker matches. Taking a look at live scoring, some of the other games already in the books. Zach Tackett up 231 to 202 against Callum Bork. Mikey Tang 224 to 181 advantage over Dom Barrett. Kyle Troop up 211 to 197 against Steve Plumpkin. 269 to 218. Nick Pate ahead of Wes Malott. Jason Sterner 235 to 184 advantage over David Haynes. Maria Jose Rodriguez is going to be in the 230s to Justin Veitch's 185. So Maria's going to have a lead headed into game 2. Jerry Mars 208 to 177 ahead of Chris Sloan.
And just to follow up on my last point, Aaron, you can't underestimate what a clutch performance Tim Foy had in stealing that match away from Belmo. I mean, even though Belmo made that big mistake in the 10th, Tim Foy still had to go up and throw a double and 8. And he absolutely pured 3 shots to do it. So, I do think that the strategy for Belmo is probably he feels like this is the best chance he's going to have to move on in the tournament. And that first match, it almost worked in his favor. But, if not for a heroic performance from Tim Foy, he'd be done for the day probably and in the winner's bracket.
Yes, Tim's run, something else. 147 start, down essentially 70 pins. Worked his way back. Actually, probably could have had the lead heading into game 3, except for a 4-10 split in the 10th frame. He was working on a late string of strikes, and then, that 10th frame, that was, you could even see it from all the way here from Texas, just seeing you could see the excitement, the nervousness, the heavy breathing, just all of that kind of happening in that moment of after he got that double, still needing to get 8. And it was just like, we ended up, the weird thing was we ended up having that ball return or the ball, we needed the ball to come back. And that might've been the, actually let him settle down a little bit for the excitement there.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was just a fantastic match. I really enjoyed watching it, and it was surprising. It was shocking. It had drama. It had all kinds of strategic decisions that the players were making. Belmo basically kind of figured something out, kind of a last resort, and was able to make it work well enough to give himself a chance to win. And then Tim Foy left that horrible stone 9 in the 8th.
Yes.
And then got the good break there in the 9th, and then just threw 3 great shots when he needed them.
And even Tim said he thought the 9-pin was it.
I did too. I mean, basically Belmo just needed one mark in 2 frames and good count, and he got the mark, and then it's 5-2. I mean, I have Tom Frenzel on my show, Bowling Explained, all the time, and we talk about what are the most common counts and frames and stuff like that. And we did an episode on scoring recently where he talked about that. 5-2, that happens like 0.03% of the time for pros. That frame is just almost non-existent. And for Belmo to do that when he just needs 8 out to win the match was just absolutely shocking. And then even with that, what is the strike percentage this week, would you say, for the players?
It's been tough.
50% maybe, if that.
It was. I was watching Mike Flanagan's second vlog of the week, which he just posted in between these blocks, and talking to players, talking to reps. He talked to Chuck Gardner, asking Chuck about, have you ever seen a Masters this tough? And Chuck said, not that he could remember, with one of the things being, he's like, usually at the Masters, guys can find a way to the 1-3. You get there a lot. You can put together some strikes. You can find ways to get some games. You can get your pins out there. And he's like, it's just tough to get to the pocket this week. Working some new pins. We haven't seen a ton of messengers. You haven't seen the trip 2 hit outside of a few times. Dale Coffey for 300, which was just awesome. But it's been tough to get the hits. So a lot of ring 10s this week.
Yeah, no, it's been brutal. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that the strike percentage of a given player is 50% this week, and I think that's probably on the high side. Even with Tim Foy needing a double, his chances of doing that are 1 in 4. I mean, even though Belmo made that mistake, he still had a 75% chance to win that match, even after he was done. And Tim Foy bucked the odds and threw 2 great shots and then a good one on the fill to lock it up. So we just saw, a huge comeback there from Tim Foy, which was remarkable.
I think that's what you call that's the Masters.
But it also gives Tim a lot.
It's
It's got to give Tim a lot of confidence going into tomorrow. Knowing that if he gets into a match where he needs, to throw a couple of strikes, that he can do it. He's got that confidence. Going into tomorrow, and not only just throwing a strike when he needs it, but throwing a strike on a really brutal pair, which gives you even more confidence.
Things didn't get any easier for Tim in that next match, and actually needing a mark once again in the 10th frame to stay undefeated to defeat Chris Vi. He was able to do so through all 3 in the 10th to wrap up that match as well, to continue his run 2-0 so far. One of the things we joked about when we talked with Tim is that, recently made his first TV appearance, ironically enough, against Chris Vi, who shot 300 on him. And he joked that he didn't think that was going to happen again, and it didn't. He got the win. But, comparing that moment to bowling on TV, Tim said that was definitely more nerve-wracking, having the opportunity in that situation, throw a double to advance against Belmo after being down 70, coming back in 2 games, all of that combined. Adding that into the mix as well, just phenomenal. So fun to watch, so crazy to watch. But that's the Masters.
And that's also, that's the development, right, of players. Tim Foy's been a really good player for a long time, but he's just started to, scratch the surface of his potential, making shows and, beating Belmo in a match like that just gives you so much confidence, which is basically, the big part of the game out here. You cannot win at this level unless you have a lot of confidence. Beating the greatest bowler in the world, maybe the greatest bowler of all time in his prime, in a match like that is something that's going to give Tim a long time to come.
Foy will be facing off against Sam Cooley in competition starting up again tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. local time in Reno.
Belmo way off on that 3-3. And I mean, he usually nails those things like they're 3 pins. Good shot there.
He's creating a little shape out there too. That ball speed is seems to have come down a skosh or 2.
Yeah, and I thought that's what he would do in the previous match, Aaron. I had alluded to it that I thought he would get a little bit left and go around it by softening up his ball speed a little bit and his axis rotation, going around the side of it a little more. But we didn't see him do that, and I don't know if it was because he felt like there was too much hang to the right, or not enough push through the front. But it's certainly something I expected to see in the last match, but just never panned out. And that's a nasty break.
Not a fun break right there. 7-10. After Belmo had given him the open there.
Well, we're at the point in the match, Aaron, where you're going to start to see some carry down with the urethane. Both guys throwing urethane, and somebody's going to start having trouble getting the ball through the pins. If I had to bet on which player that would be, it would not be Belmo.
Taking a look at some live scoring here. Nice little game 2 brewing between Cameron Crowe and Dallas Leong. Dallas with the front 5 after 2:08 in the opener. For Cam, spare a 5-bagger. He had 198, so 10-pin match and a bunch of strikes up on the board there. Maria Jose Rodriguez, front 6 after 231 against Justin Veach. That's way down on 71 and 72 on one of our featured channels.
Like a ball change there to reactive, but it was real nice to it. What you saw there, Aaron?
He was still pretty direct, but I know that was something he had talked about doing as well, and we saw him, and he even talked about wanting to still wanting to try and play straight out there when he could. Dallas Leong up to 7 in a row now.
That's pretty.
Not that there's ever a time where you wouldn't be scared to face Belmo, but the demeanor right now out there is just very incredibly I don't know what's beyond business-like.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's all very calm and calculated. Not a lot of emotion. Everything's slowed down. It's like scary Belmo. Maria now up to 8 in a row on 71-72.
That one's in. Just not a lot of help out there.
JT, how you feel about seeing Maria?
I was just going to
say the 10th frame
thing.
here.
Just going to say the same thing.
All right, we will have that opportunity in just a moment. Look at Brad's frame here.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Brad, I think, went from urethane and hitting it really hard to reactive and being very nice to it, playing kind of the same angle.
This is for 9.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble, Aaron.
Get us, chat. Get us. We know. We know.
Still going to be a huge lead and nice spare conversion there by Maria.
We got the spare. We got the spare. Wave to the crowd.
All but over there.
Yeah, she's going to be in really good shape to advance, collect a win here, move on to the next round, which will be coming up directly. 20-minute break after the last ball is rolled. To the next round of the elimination bracket. But yeah, Maria's in good position to do so. Brad with a strike in the ninth. He can get to 203 with all three in the 10th. That would put him at 423. Dallas Leon got to the front 8 before missing in the ninth. Can still shoot 279. Belmo, ninth frame, working on a spare. Still has 234 out there. Maria finished with 267. She's going to make the turn at 468. Or 498, excuse me. Have a big lead in that matchup. First one in the 10th for Belmo. He's in the 220s now. Push it to the 230s with one more. Tripping a 4 into the 230s, Jason Belmonte. We're going to bring JT in real quick and then go back to full screen, folks.
Yeah, it was interesting. Tim Boy, after the match where he defeated Belmo, basically said, he had to get the ball right. He there was no hold from where he was playing, out to the right. And it feels like Belmo has the same ball reaction here on 5 and 6. He can get the ball right, but every time he misses in, goes high. A good break there to trip the 4. But you saw on the fill ball there, he jumped way in to see if he could get away from it. And really the only big games he shot this week that I've seen, and I could be wrong, but were with reactive from in. And but he also shot all of his low games this week doing that as well. So but I know he knows what's going on. I know he knows that Chris Prather is hitting him pretty hard from in, and EJ Tackett. And I think it's tempting for him to want to jump in there and see if there's that kind of ball reaction for him.
Did look pretty good on the fill, 234 for 460. Add an extra 20 onto the difference as Brad was unable to get the first strike in the 10th. 182. So he's at 402 down, 58 heading into the last game.
He's got him right where he wants him, Aaron, just like Tim Boy.
The chat is cheering, though. It's a very pro Brad chat room right now. So they are rooting to see him make this comeback here. The other half of the Brad and Kyle channel bowling Packy Hanrahan right now. And Kyle Sherman going to have a pretty nice lead heading into game number 3. Packy, with a spare in the 10th, could get to 347. Kyle can still get to 450 this game. Or for his 2 games, I should say.
And Packy, he apparently missed a 247 to lose his last match and put him in the elimination bracket.
Some other updates. Jason Sturr up about 60 on David Haynes. We mentioned Maria Jose Rodriguez up by more than 100 against Justin Veitch. Matthew Zweig is going to have the lead over Marshall Kent. Will be 20 to 30 pin lead, depending on if Marshall gets the second strike in the 10th. Nick Pate making the turn at 526.
Well, Nick Oglin's 800 still in the wood.
It still is, yes. So he's in great position against Wes Malott there. Kyle Troop, 457. Steve Klompkin can get to 438 if he gets the last 2 in the 10th. So still a close matchup over there. Zach Tackett up 40 and change against Callum Bork. Pretty close matchup between Michael Tang and Dom Barrett. Tang with a 4-pin lead heading into this game. Dallas Leong up 487 to 441 against Cameron Crowe. And Jacob Buttriff up 420 to 361 on PJ Haggerty.
Tell you, Brad is doing a fine job of controlling the pocket. He's having trouble stringing strikes. That's got a hold. Wow, I think that might have been the first time Belmo's got one in, and it's held all week. Good break there for Belmo, just breaking up the split.
Filling frames the key here for Belmo. seems to explain the way things have gone for Brad this particular match.
Aaron, I got an interesting little update. Anthony Lavery Spar, who's bowling on 51 and 52, in the 6th frame of this match that he's currently in against Barry Slater, threw a shot, and the ball actually broke apart when it hit the pin.
It broke apart in his hand?
No, it broke apart after it hit the pins.
Oh.
On his 6th frame. So we'll have to go back and check that out later when the archive is available. Because I always like watching bowling balls fall apart when they hit the pins. I always felt like mine did that anyway.
Very nice. The power.
Yeah, mine did it because of the lack of power. So Belmo, just no reason to shake the boat here. Just keep it in play, keep hitting the pocket, stay clean, force Brad Miller to do something to run him down.
And I think someone mentioned it in the chat, and we talked a little bit about it prior to the start among our team, but the winner of this match goes on to face Bill O'Neill, so that will be another fun one for our Bowl TV audience here. If Belmo stays ahead in this match, to see which one keeps their tournament hopes alive.
Ran into Anthony Lavery Spar and AJ Chapman yesterday at the hotel, and their biggest fear was that they would draw each other. They're rooming together this week and have to knock one of the other ones, knock your roommate out. It's a bummer. But we've seen it at the Tour Championship on the PWBA Tour many times. And you see it here at the Masters all the time. Just part of the fun of the event.
I still feel there would be advantages there, though, in that situation. If you were the roommate who lost the match, officially at that point, I feel the roommate who won is, going to. That might be it. Might be it there for Brad here in this match, but I feel if you won, then you'd be expected to buy like dinner the rest of the way out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you gotta do that agreement before the week starts, right? I mean, maybe you don't have to put it in writing, but just a handshake agreement. Like, hey, if you win, you pay for the room. If I win, you pay for the room. Deal like that.
Making deals. I like it.
Yeah, pretty much must strike time here for Brad Miller. And he can pull out all the stops.
with the spare there, that drops Brad's max score this game to 228. So even if he were to strike out, if Belmo gets to 170, going to be enough. And Belmo currently trending in the right direction. So he elected to, I think he's thinking the same thing at this point, making the move left there, trying a few different things.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's feels like this match is well in hand, and he's going to get a look at some different options for his match, potentially with his roommate, Bill O'Neill.
JT, I think with this one all but wrapped up, we're going to head over to 59-60. Nick Pate still has his opportunity to, he's going to win against Wes Malott, but he still has a chance to shoot 795.
Oh, almost Nick Hoagland, almost. I mean, if Nick Hoagland would have said somebody's going to shoot 795 or better, most of those same people that take the under on the 800 bet are still going to take the under on 795. Am I right?
I feel so.
So, Nick goes off the sheet here. Even if he doesn't go off the sheet here, he has a chance for 795 with one frame left. Pretty close to validating what Nick Hoagland said the other day.
Wes, the runner-up at the 2013 Masters. And Nick's still pretty far right there. So that hit's going to drop him into the 770s with the conversion. We'll get one more from Nick, and then we'll head over to 55 and 56. Kyle Troop and Steve Klompkin. Troop currently up 31. Half a game left to go. Jason Sterner is going to collect a win against David Haynes, as is Maria Jose Rodriguez. So they're both moving on to the next round. So David Haynes and Justin Veach eliminated. So we'll make a quick run over to 55 and 56. Don't mind us, folks. There's the Hall of Famer, Steve Klompkin getting the strike. We'll see if Steve can make it a double here. 56 in the fourth. So Nice shot right there. Another big frame for Kyle here. Working on a strike and maintain that advantage right here. Matthew Zweig, front 7 against Marshall Kent. Matthew in good position to take this match, but potentially a little added excitement. If he can add a few more. Oh. What a hit. Wow. Seventh frame, Kyle Troop looking for a 3-bagger. Started this match up 22. Has maintained. Just got that trip 4. Oh, that one real good. Real good. Talked about the importance of this event for Kyle, looking long-term. Making a nice run, thinking about PBA Player of the Year in the 2021 season. A major already collected this season. We do have a front 9 now. Matt Z has kept it going. Oh, back-breaking 4-9 there. That might push this one over. We're going to go ahead and make the move over to the next pair. Give us a quick second. Marshall's just trying to get out of the way now. He'll have a couple of days now to get ready for the U.S. Open. Let's see if Matthew can finish this off. He's got the win in hand. Looking to make it 10 for 10 here. There we go. We're in business. Going to bring JT back in here real quick. We got Nick Pate on deck. Right now, we're looking for 11 in a row.
Business is picking up. Nick Pate almost shooting 800, as Nick Hoagland predicted might happen. And now Matt Zweig, possible 300.
Oh, that was real good. That was real good, JT.
And, you know, from what I gathered, he's playing them quite a bit different than Nick did. We're going to get a chance to talk to Nick and have him explain how he was almost able to shoot an 800 series on this pattern that's foiled the best bowlers in the world for the last 4 days.
Matt Zweig is requesting a ball return on the front 11.
Well, it worked for Tim Foy.
It did. All right, it's back. It's back. We're ready, folks. Matt Zweig, front 11 here in the opening round of the elimination matches at the 2021 USBC Masters at the National Bowling Stadium. Can't make it 12. That's going to have a chance. Let's get it. There we go. Matt Zweig.
Nice little 759, but not quite as good as our next guest coming up on the show.
JT, before we bring Nick in, is that the first one we've gotten on live stream this entire season? Like all of 2021 since we came back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we had 299 at the Kickoff Classic with Jillian Martin, which was awesome. It might have been better than a 300, and it would have been her first certified 300 ever, but I do believe you're right.
All right. Let's bring in Nick now. Nick Pate joining the Bowl TV broadcast. Nick, what a performance out there. 770s. That was something else. Talk a little bit about how you were able to work the lanes to put up a score like that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. I kind of didn't stick to my game plan this morning and, shot 550. And then I needed to burn a little hole right with some surface, and I threw urethane. I created that hole, and then I could towards the end I can actually bump off of it a little bit. My process was to keep the straighter angles, keep the hand going up the back, and play a little front to back, and then I ended up striking a lot. I should have shot 800. I had 2 8-pins that last game, but I'll take a 770. I mean, honestly, I would have rather have a 600, so I still win by 1. It all scores the same, but it's good momentum, good confidence for the next match.
Are you surprised that there was that much score out there, given what you guys had bowled on all week?
Kind of. I knew that they were going to be a little tricky pair to pair here. Honestly, lane to lane here is quite different. I had, my left lane quite a few more where I could. I had to move left, and that kind of worried me a little bit. But I made some really good shots, and I got a couple breaks. I tripped a 4, late 10. But that's what it takes. A couple breaks here and there. But I'm definitely ready for the next match.
Speaking of the next match, you draw your buddy Chris Vi. Do you feel like you're going to have the same look with the way he likes to break the lanes down as you had against Wes Malott?
So I flip ends, and I haven't bowled down on the low end, but I know they do hook quite a bit more. And if he plays how he did earlier, I was watching. I think I like my chances, but it's Chris Vi in a major. He somehow bowls. I mean, he's a good bowler, and he just shows up in majors all the time. So it's not going to be an easy task, but if the lanes are giving me what I want, then I like my chances.
All right, Nick. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on Bowl TV. An excellent performance there in the win against Wes. I know you got a quick break, so enjoy it and get ready for that next match.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Good luck,
Thanks,
Nick.
All right, folks. Why are we full screen? There's JT. All right, let's we still have a couple of matches going on here.
There's got to be a good one somewhere, Aaron.
Let's take a look at 47-48 right now. Gary Faulkner, our overall tournament leader, got knocked to the elimination bracket in the first round, taking on Matt Russo.
This one's a bit of a blowout. Gary Faulkner with a 110-pin lead.
Well, that is a lot.
Got Francois Lavoie bowling Michael Martel in 43 and 44, which unfortunately is we're not broadcasting.
I think the move is, let's go to 39 and 40. Let's see Darren Tang and Todd Kiersey Sipes. I think we need to make a quick potential scoreboard adjustment on that one. It looks like they might have gotten knocked a little bit.
Okay, I will be right back.
We'll head over there after this shot. So we'll join the Bowl TV studio once again for a quick sec, folks. Promise it won't be for too long. Darren Tang. Todd at Kiersey Sipes. Todd started game 3 with a 425, 384 advantage. 2 opens, though, here in the early going. Darren looking for the big double, connects. So 4 out of the last 5 for Vitamin D. So we'll see how Todd responds here. Just the 1 strike in the third. Couple spares here. Let's bring JT back into the show. Then we'll go back to full screen. There he is, JT.
I didn't do the job right. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
All right.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, vicious messenger there from Todd. Was up 41 heading into this game, but as we mentioned, Darren, 4 out of the last 5 has narrowed the margin. They're looking good, JT. We got there.
They're okay. They're still a little messed up on the right edge, but you can see all the scores.
This one's going to come down to the final frame here. Once again, Todd plus 25, Darren minus 16. Shaping up to be a good one, however. Darren has connected for the last 2, looking to make it 3. Gets the mixer. Max score 247 out there. Which would give him to plus 31 if he's able to take this off the sheet. So a strike here gives him the opportunity to step up in the 10th, regardless of what Todd does here, and win this match. Back-to-back light mixers. 4 in a row, Darren Tang. looking to keep his tournament hopes alive.
Well, as you said, Aaron, this one could potentially come down to the 10th frame.
Winner of this match will face Nathan Bohr. Now it's up to Todd to apply some pressure here in the 9th and 10th. Max score of 194. We get him to plus 19. Oh, bring it forward.
Is that the third rolled tube pin we've seen? They've all been big, too. So here's the story. If Todd Kiersey Sipes can double in the 10th, then that's going to force Darren to go strike 9 spare. Oh,
Wow.
Man, he puts the mask over his eyes. Rolls the 2 and then trips the 4 on a shot that was almost as high as a big 4 hit.
Anthony Livery-Spar going to get the win against Barry Slater. Kyle Troop 668 in a victory over Steve Klompkin. Jerry Mars over Chris Sloan. Trip 2 look again, not happening this time.
So that's going to force Darren Tang to get a mark and good count on both shots. That hurt a little bit. Missing that one pin.
Plus 6 is where Todd is at.
That's right. So 223 or better needed by Darren Tang, which basically means 9 spare 8.
Did not like it. Yikes.
Wow.
Spare 9 now needed to win by 1. Takes care of business there, no problem. Kyle Sherman win over Packy Hanrahan. Tom Baird over Michael Tang.
So 9 count needed here for Darren Tang. 8, and we would have a tie.
Oh. My goodness, that could have been a whole lot of mess.
Yeah, that was a great
Very
break.
fortunate 6-pin. Wow. 1-pin victory for Darren Atang. If we would have had a tie, it would have been a 1-ball roll-off with the higher seed determining starting lane and position. Tenth frame left in the Faulkner-Russo match. Gary's going to win that by a sizable amount. That's all we have for bowling right now, at least on our featured pairs. All right, JT, I'm going to bring us back here. It looks like we have a guest joining us. Is that who I think it is?
It is. It is exactly who you think it is.
Fantastic. Let's welcome in Bill O'Neill to Bowl TV. Hello again, Bill.
Hey, I think I spend more time with you guys than I do on the lanes.
Send your bill to Jason Thomas. It's jason.thomas@bowl.com.
We already
listen,
arranged it. Yeah,
There's like 15 years worth of unpaid invoices for Jason that still waiting on.
So you got a big matchup coming up next. It's always unfortunate when roommates have to bowl one another, but that's what's coming up next. What do you guys have like a side bet on this outcome coming up here next, or is it just every man for himself?
Yeah, we haven't talked about any sort of side bet or anything like that. I think advancing in the tournament is enough of a bet for us at this point. So I know that he's gonna bowl a good score. So I got to go out there and bowl a little better than I have so far. I got to try to be a little more focused and just try to make a bunch of good shots. The lane pattern is really, really, really tough, and so any little slip up is no good, especially against somebody like Jason.
Yeah, have you had a chance to watch Jason's first couple of matches and kind of see what his ball reaction has been, and does that give you any insight into the strategy you're going to go about for this next match?
I think my strategy is going to be the same as it's been, and just kind of practice where I've been, and try to move a little bit left off of that. I think my ball reaction is okay, and I just have to make good shots, and I'm obviously got to keep an eye on what he's doing, and if he's further left than I am, I'm going to have to take note of that, and really, really stay on my toes, because the lanes change pretty quickly out here, even though there's only two people on a pair.
We've seen a couple big scores these last few rounds. Chris Prather shot a big number, and he said he could have shot even more if he kind of had something to bowl for the last game. Nick Pate almost shot an 800 series. So didn't we talk about that last night with Nick Hoagland saying someone was going to shoot 800? And was that you that we talked about?
Yeah, and it still hasn't happened yet. So
you're right. You're right.
770 is great. It's an unbelievable score. Still not 800 though.
Very true. Very true. But are you going to take anything out of that and maybe try to, use some of the strategies that those guys have used to break them down, or does it really depend on what Jason does that's going to dictate the scoring pace in your match?
Yeah, listen, I haven't bowled many 220 games in this tournament, so looking at 770 or 800 is not really in the game plan. Okay? I am just trying to stay out of my own way and try to bowl something like 660 or 680, and hope that's enough.
Well, good luck in the next round against Jason. I know you got very little time to prep before the match, but good luck. We'll be watching, and hopefully you don't have to spend too much more time with us in the booth here this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, listen, because you're cutting into my prep time here. If I lose, it is your guys' fault.
There we go. I like it. All right, Bill, we'll let you get back at it. And thanks again for joining us here.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, JT. We heard the announcement as well as we're talking to Bill there. The round is over. The round is complete. So based off of what the schedule says, we got 20 minutes before they start up again here for the next round. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break as well to get ready for this final round of the evening. So after this, we'll be down to 32 players, 16 in the winner's bracket, 16 in the elimination bracket. And guess what? We still have another giveaway to go. So one more Ultimate Ears speaker going home to one lucky Bowl TV viewer in this next block. So you know what? Once we get into it, once we get into game one, and for some reason I feel we'll be watching this Belmo Bill O'Neill match perhaps. So we'll probably get into it early in game one. We'll give that away. But folks, for right now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick little break. So thank you again for joining us here on Bowl TV for the 2021 USBC Masters. We'll be back tomorrow as well until we get down to our top five for the stepladder finals on FS1 on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 local time. But for Mike Flanagan, Matt Cannizzaro, Jason Thomas, I'm Aaron Smith. Don't go too far. Once again, 20-minute break. That's all it's going to be before we're back on the lanes competing once again. Practice is going to be ongoing as well. So, folks, we'll see you soon. And, yeah, USBC Masters, one more round to go today before we turn things off. So we're leaving everything on. Don't go too far. We'll be right back here on Bowl TV.
This is your 2-minute warning. Less than 2 minutes to go. Make those final decisions. Looks like the warm-up session is not over. Please, no more deliveries. The pin centers are beginning to cycle off. Okay, looks like these scoreboards are coming up. Full set of pins on the deck. Match play finals, good luck and good score. Just a note about the arrows. The high seed in the match has the choice of order. If you need to reverse arrows, please use the monitor down below.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final round of action for the evening. This is Jason Thomas. I'm joined by PJ Haggerty. Got an epic match here tonight. I know you're, licking your wounds a little bit right now.
Yep.
But you probably have as good an insight into these two guys we're about to watch than anybody. What are you expecting to see out of these two guys?
Well, this is a lot like Kong versus Godzilla, the movie that's coming out.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I know that both guys aren't in the greatest moods for several reasons. Certainly, Belmo's had an extremely long trip away from home and his family, and and Billy's been frustrated. He just hasn't been bowling that great. So I expect a close one, as you can probably imagine. And if I had to pick, I couldn't pick because I could see either one of these guys winning this thing.
Yeah, and maybe obviously one of them's going to make it to the final day of the Masters, which is always a good accomplishment. Anything can happen on that last day. So somebody's mood might get a little better after this. But, you guys are all buddies, and I'm sure, even the losses, you feel almost just as bad as you do good for yourself when you win, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a tough call for these guys. The one thing that I see early is when Belmo curves this urethane ball. I bowled next to him here right before I lost. He bowled Brad Miller, and I feel like Brad bowled pretty well and just get kind of faked out. What Belmo can do to a pair can just really kind of play tricks on you. So, but Billy's so smart. He's so good. He can definitely figure this out. So,
yeah, he didn't seem. We talked a little bit with Bill before the match, and it didn't seem like he expected the scores to be all that high. He kind of felt like he was going to go into this match and basically see what Jason did and base his strategy off of that. But really, neither of these guys have had a great look at any point all week. They've kind of grinded their way through, and they've kind of survived. I assume you would expect that to kind of continue with this match, right?
Yeah. Even we rented a house, so we've been staying together all week, and certainly we're digesting the tournament and the scores every night as we're bowling, and it's. None of us had a great look, and I was even telling some of the ball reps, Timmy Mack and Callahan and Sean Ryan. I never felt comfortable. I never felt loose. I just felt tight and felt like I had to place it, and I couldn't bowl real, super freely because of how demanding the pattern is.
Well, with that being said, PJ, let's bring in the man who's responsible for that feeling for you all week, Mr. Nick Hoagland. Nick, how you doing tonight?
Good, guys. Good to see you. I gotta tell you, I was watching I was watching the practice session, and that was worth the price of admission itself. It was like two alpha dogs stalking each other, watching each other every shot. Belmo trying to hook the lane, throwing the carry down into Bill's track. Bill throwing charcoal just left of where Belmo would try to play straight with that urethane. So it was just amazing to watch the strategy in 15 minutes practice.
Nick, You're really good at what you do, my friend.
Well, I'm glad I'm good at something.
Yeah, I feel like I have an open wound on my arm, on my hand, and there's just little drops of salt that just keep getting poured into it. It's like I want to win this tournament because it's such a prestigious event, but at the same time, not having to ball in this pattern for 360 days or so, or a version of it.
You're looking forward to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I mentioned this the other day. I think they came out a little harder than I thought they'd be. I mean, they were going to be challenging, but they're definitely harder. It's just so hard to cross at the stadium. It's like on 4 different centers, brand new pins, and frankly, I mean, a lot of the guys that bowl every week on tour, they're not used to the scoring pace so far this year. It's a little bit, I think, of a shock, like you said, PJ. Like you didn't feel free, right? You just couldn't let it go, and 15 games of that will catch up to you.
Big time. And even coming into today, knowing that now it's head to head, the lanes may not transition that much, and you're kind of in control of how you're going to break this pair down. Still, I had a game plan, and both first games of my matches, I bowled the same score. I bowled 157. I tried to play left and kind of get away from the cliff, and then the second match I tried to get maybe kind of on top of the cliff and not give the head pin away. And it's just very easy to get locked up on this pattern and try to be perfect, and you can't. So
yeah, and Jason Thomas, I didn't get to watch the last round, but you did say that I think Nick Pate had 770 and Matthew Zweig had 760. So the 800's still out there.
Well, you did say yesterday that you thought you wouldn't be surprised if someone shot 800 in the matches. And I think a lot of people said, what the heck is this guy talking about? And I did have Bill on the air before this match, and I said, hey, someone shot 770. He had a chance for 800 going to the last free. And he said, well, it still wasn't 800. It was, but it was interesting because I asked Bill, hey, you've been watching a little bit all day, and he said, yeah, that's really not out there for me. He said, I'm just going to go out and try to grind out and try to win matches. And I'm not really going to try to, he said, I've been having trouble shooting 220 this week. So he's just going to take what he can get.
Nick, one thing that was helpful this week was the book that we received. I don't know if the people watching know what we received. I guess Jason's got one here on the table, but it's a topography graph of all of the lanes here at the stadium, and I'm going to keep it for future reference because we bowl nationals. We bowl nationals here, every few years, and I think it's a useful tool. So, thanks for making it a little easier.
Well, it's you can thank Jason and Greg Moore and Rob Gottschall, that team. That was their idea several years ago. And when the pattern's this flat, those little swales, like a putting green, really make a difference. And so it's your yardage book, and I think it's a smart move that we give them out. It really, I think, kind of levels the playing field of the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Nice shot there from.
So much better than Bill's right now. You're right.
And speaking of Nick Pate, we're going to take a quick look over here just to give a little bit of a different perspective on how somebody who's been whacking them is playing the lanes. He's bowling Chris Vi.
So did I hear this right? He bowled 770?
He did, yeah, and he had a pop at 800 with 3 frames to go.
I'd like to know what he's doing.
Well, of course, we
Yeah,
turn it on and he washes out.
But I just do that.
He did say he threw urethane in the last match, and he said he was able to kind of carve a little spot for himself, and then they just got easier as the match went on. But we also saw Chris Prather earlier today have a pop at 800 with about 6 frames left in the last game, and he had such a huge lead, he just kind of shut it down.
Right.
But he was playing the lanes completely different. He was playing fourth arrow and hooking the whole lane and had a nice look. And that's kind of what Nick had said yesterday. You can choose your own poison and decide where you want to play. And if you bowl great, you can score. But obviously the matches are more conducive to that because you're able to stay on the one pair. But if your opponent's not cooperating, it can get ugly pretty quick.
This pattern will expose every flaw in your game, whether it's speed, spares, where your hand is at the bottom, whatever your flaw is, this pattern will expose it. So the key takeaway is just getting a little bit better from bowling on something like this.
So Nick Pate, they're on 7 and 8, and this left lane when Barnes and Duke bowled was different. It was tighter down lane.
Yes.
Jason Pepper. So I'm interested to see if that holds true during this match too.
He's actually right of the spot where Duke and Barnes couldn't get the ball around the corner. So I'm wondering if this pair is playing a little bit more even lane to lane for Nick than it was for Barnes and Duke. Yeah, and we actually just opened up the map, Nick, and it looks like there's a little bit of a depression early on lane 7, which means the ball's going to see some early hook, and then not so much down lane. And then on lane 8, there's a spot down lane where the ball looks like it will hook back from, which explains exactly why. But it's pretty far to the right.
Well, Duke on that right lane, that last match was out further, and the ball would come back. And on lane 7, how many 2-pin combinations did those two guys leave in that left lane? It was an alarming amount. So let's see if Chris here. I think he pulled that last one. So he's going to play this lane tighter with that hang spot, or just keep it direct. Nice pitch.
Yeah, if you notice, here's the map right here, and that is the spot that we're talking about on lane 7. Then if you look down lane and flip this over, that spot is where you'd want to be throwing it to on the other lane.
It's a ramp.
So yeah, it's exactly the opposite. That spot comes early on 7. And it comes late on 8. So that's what those guys are seeing. But if you're going up the lane, you're not going to see that as much.
That's correct. And Jason, also your ball has to get to that spot out there, which is a dangerous proposition, especially if you're going left to right at it. If you have too much tilt left to right, it's just going to wiggle down lane, no matter what the topography is.
The ball picks up speed once it gets to that spot. The ball just cannot slow down. Especially if sorry, Nick. Especially if Nick's throwing urethane here, I mean that ball needs to slow down in the front because it's not going to hook down lane.
Yeah, what I've seen the guys struggle with is this the machine is traveling at a normal speed, call it, for 37 feet, and then the last 3 feet the machine slows down, and so you have this sort of no man's land or speed bump at the end. And if the ball is trying to change direction in that sort of 3-foot block, it's going to accelerate what it's going to do, and that's why you see the ball mysteriously pick up too quick at 35 feet just by the rangefinders, or it just pushes forever. It's that slowdown of the machine that causes that accelerated change in direction of the ball at the break point.
Now, I quit bowling very, thankfully, a while back before we had topography maps. I think they would have driven me crazy because I think I might have been interested to know after the game was over why I bowled 150.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much it would have helped me, from a proactive standpoint. How much did you use the maps this week, and how did you use them?
Yeah, I looked at it often, especially because we had to wait for everybody to be done before we moved pairs. So that's when I looked at it and say, okay, what pair am I going to? And then I'd also talk to some of the reps, and they'd give me a little bit of insight on, who's been there, where did they start? Because, even though we bowled 15 games of qualifying, bowling 3 5-game blocks with 4 in a pair and space in between, the 5-game blocks go so fast that it's not only the pattern is extremely challenging, but it's really hard to slow your mind down, because all of a sudden you feel like you've been here for an hour and you're in the 3rd game, and it's like, wow, I've got a game and a half left and this block is done. So being able to make sure that you look at that map to make sure okay, what should I be kind of in store for? I think it was key. I think it was, and I asked a few guys here right when I got done. I asked if any other guys used it, and they said, yeah, they used it often, just
Jason,
to have some sort of advantage.
You're right, PJ, and Jason. For you, I wouldn't have wanted to have it in league when the lanes are pair to pair going to be so different. But the USBC, to its credit, leveling lanes is not a cheap thing to do. It's very expensive, and the organization spent money doing this to level them out to make the competition fair. And so it's a real tip of the cap to get these lanes within spec so that the competition's fair. You're going to have those lanes, though, that are going to have these little bumps and nooks and crannies, but they're all within tolerance. They're all within USBC specification, and I think that's important for everyone to know.
Well,
Nick, would
Bill
you say
O'Neill's-
that?
yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead, PJ.
Nick, would you say that this the scoring pace, or when you kind of put this idea together, was this higher than you liked, lower than you liked, fair?
Right.
What do you
Great
think from a distance?
Great question. It's. I wouldn't answer it how I like it. I would say that I expected it to be higher, a little higher scoring than what it is. Having said that, I wouldn't trade the results for anything. We had a squad equity of, I think it was 21, 19, and 24. We had 2 lefties in the top 10, 9 lefties out of 64, and every mix of style on both sides of the lane that equally can shoot 700 or 500. So I wouldn't have traded the results that we have today for anything. Because I think it was a pretty, again, I would like to have seen them a little higher scoring, just because I didn't expect it to be this low. But if the lower scoring pace caused the equity to be what it is, then we'll take it.
Yeah.
PJ, did you ever have the thought this week did it cross your mind that, okay, I'm trying to decide between reactive and urethane, wherever you wanted to play in the lane, and the carry with the urethane ball was not going to be good enough, and you had to switch to reactive? Did that ever go through your head as to a decision at some point in the tournament?
Yeah, the very first game and a half of the tournament, our first block, I used urethane, and I had, I believe I had 2-0, 2-0, or something along those lines. And it kind of goes back to being comfortable. I felt like I just played defense for 15 games trying to make it to here, where I feel like if I had played more offense, I may not have made this cut. But going from urethane to reactive was so tough, because reactive, most of the balls just saw the friction so hard that it made it really, really difficult to use. But kind of in your brain, I said, it's going to be really hard for me to bowl 230 or more with urethane, but I also don't think I'm going to bowl 160 with urethane.
Mm-hmm.
So today, even though I went 0-2, I didn't throw urethane. I didn't even really try it because I felt like I could repeat shots with anything, but I felt like I could pull a better score with reactive. And I bowled 157 the first the first game of each set. So easy to look back now, but there's no magic, man. You hit your target, make sure your speed's correct, and go from there.
That's been the miss for Belmo all week, just the right. But at this point, we're going to the folks in the chat, if you've been listening and you've been looking forward to the giveaway, we're going to bring Aaron Smith in, and he's going to be giving away our final prize of the day. Let's see if Belmo can make this washout.
Money.
Man, that's nice. How much would he have paid to have that a couple of matches ago against Tim Foy in the 10th frame?
Yeah, we rode back to the house after that match because we had a couple hour break, and the word that Belmo uses is cranky. He was very cranky about that.
Good shot there to finish, and kind of bailed out that game there with the washout conversion and a strike on the fill, and we'll take a 47-pin lead into game 2 against Billy O'Neill. But at this point, we're going to bring Aaron Smith in, and we're going to give away our final prize of the evening.
Gonna be real quick here, folks. So it's giveaway time. A pair of Ultimate Ears speakers up for grabs. So all you have to do, we're going to prompt it right after I get off the screen here. You'll see in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You will have to wait for it to count down. It'll take a second. Click submit entry. That's all you got to do. You might want to take it out of full screen. Then you'll be entered to win. So good luck, everybody. Guys, continue.
Well,
Jason,
team number 2. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
Isn't Bill O'Neill's down about the same amount as Tim Foy was a couple matches ago, right?
Yeah.
About 40 pins.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And, Tim kind of clawed his way back, and Belmo had a pretty big lead. I actually think Belmo was up 60-something after the first game because Tim shot 147. And, Belmo it seemed like he was playing pretty safe and throwing his urethane and having a little bit of a chance to look at some different options, and then Tim kind of figured something out once they got real tough, and forced Belmo to have to try a few different things, and then he got way left and had a fairly decent look, and looked like he had the match well in hand, and then gave Tim a chance in the 10th, and Tim walked through the door. So yeah, it was a fantastic match. I mean, I'm sure Belmo doesn't think it was that fantastic, right. But he really was in control of the match the whole way through, and Tim just kind of hung in there and gave himself a chance and threw some clutch strikes in the 10th to win.
See, I'm really interested. That shot right there. So that to me was Bill O'Neill threw charcoal right there for about 5 minutes on that left lane, and Jason's ball, the urethane, hit that spot at about 35 feet, duck hooked. So it's going to be interesting to see what his move's going to be. Is he going to move right and fire it straighter, or is he going to try to go around it? But that to me was all about Bill O'Neill's practice.
Yeah, and I've been predicting for the last few matches that Belmo would jump left and try to go around it with urethane, and he just hasn't been able to make that work. Normally he's the best at that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation at the house before we came here. We just kind of talked about our matches, and he said right of 10 and left of 20 were really his options. He said anything in the middle was kind of ugly and hadn't really had any success with it. So I would expect him to just keep moving left with that urethane ball, Nick. He's up by close to 50, and the match can go so fast. I mean, Billy, if Billy gets a couple here, starts to string him, then it's hard not to watch your opponent. It's hard not. The scoreboards are so massive here that it's hard not to look up and go, shoot, I'm up 10 or I'm down 50 or whatever the number is.
Yeah, that ball on 50, to me, that ball would have two-pinned about 5 frames ago that he just threw, and that one wrinkled. So I'm wondering if he thinks now that he's got a board right, and I'm interested to see if he, kind of makes a one-on-one left and tries to throw it to the side a little away from him.
I like how Nick just said he might have a board. And it's totally true.
I've got a board.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
I'm so excited.
And see, like Billy's shot right there. That's
a good
that
shot.
Wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
And full penalty.
Yep.
Well, what's interesting is this. The lane play is kind of shaping up to what happened in the match with Tim Foy and Belmo.
Mm-hmm.
Belmo played out with urethane, and Tim played a little bit inside of him with urethane, and basically, Belmo was not able to jump left and get it around the spot because there was so much carry down in that zone. And Tim actually stayed there and switched to reactive and was able to find a way to get the ball back around the corner. And Belmo, tried it with urethane, tried it with reactive. And that's just been his story all week. And when he moves left and tries to get it around the corner, it just won't make it around. And then when he gets the ball going up towards the pocket, he has no hold. And so he kind of played around, tried to throw some reactive to get it around the corner, and that was just too strong. And then he just had to completely get away from all the carry down, and that's why he jumped left of fourth arrow. But Bill seems like he's pretty close to what Tim was kind of able to do the last game and a half in that match.
That shot on 50 just was not a confident shot by Jason at all. I mean, it was like he kind of halved into the slide and kind of pulled up on it, and like just really didn't hit it all at the bottom of the swing either. So not sure if he slipped or if he's just not feeling confident about it.
Nick, I felt like that for 5 days, man. Somehow I got enough to make this cut, but when you can't bowl free and you can't bowl confident, it's exposed very easily on this.
PJ, what's funny is like I've been like that when I was good bowling. I always felt like I was in jail, so it means nothing to me. I always felt like I'm in jail even when they're walled up.
Yeah. Well, it's like you compare it to league. You get up.
Look at this, unbelievable! Wow. So is that PJ? Is that just? I mean, is that your point right there? It's just now at this point, it's mental. He grinded for 4 days. I mean, he won't miss another 3-pin the rest of the tour year, right?
Totally. Yeah, and I'm guilty. I missed some spares this week. I'm an excellent spare shooter. I don't miss them, but when scores are so low, you're shooting so many more spares, so that it's likely that you're going to miss spares because you're shooting more of them. But yeah, I mean, Belmo's shot, that's purely, kind of a mental lapse. He said earlier, and I'm not afraid to say this because we're boys, but he said mentally he's not all there at this point. He's fried out. He's been away from home for quite a while, and I tried to pump him up and say, bro, hey, you've got a couple pops here to go home on a good note, and who knows, man? Nobody knows how he's feeling except for him, but I know he's frustrated.
Yeah, and I actually had a conversation with Francois Lavoie prior to the tournament here this week, and Francois, you never see him get emotional at all. We see it a little bit when he's away from the cameras,
Sure.
but I asked him what is the thing that gets under your skin more than anything, when you're out there competing, and he said missing spares.
Yep.
He said if I miss a spare, it just makes my toes want to curl up in my shoe. And
yeah, because when the lanes are softer or they're a little easier, if you miss a spare and then you throw two or three strikes behind it, you've made up for that missed spare. Well, here, to throw 2 or 3 in a row, not only really well, but also to knock all 10 over, because it's tough to get the ball to go through the pins the right way. That's a big challenge. So missing a single pin like that it's very costly. And Billy goes Brooklyn there, right? And he didn't like it, but Jay the latter part of the last game, he made the 310 by hitting the right side of the 3-pin.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's very uncharacteristic. I mean, he makes that like 9 out of 10 the right way.
Yeah, but Nick, I can't tell you how like tight and uncomfortable and just locked up that this pattern can make you feel. And for the people at home, it's really hard to describe, but it's kind of like if anybody plays golf and you've got like a 4 or 5 foot putt that you would make if you just walked over with one hand and just putted it in, you'd make it 9 out of 10 times. But when you feel like you have no idea where the ball is going to go and you have to hit it perfect, that's kind of what this feels like. And then you're bowling against the best in the world, and it's a true test, no doubt.
JT, I'm just wondering, I know Belmo lost that game against Tim Foy with, but he threw, I don't know what ball it was, but he was throwing a reactive ball and kind of fading it at 20, and he had a great look. And he made one bad shot and got the 5 count. I'm just wondering if he's going to go back to that look where he was kind of playing hold, if that's even possible in this pattern, but it was kind of like that fallback. I'm just curious to see if he's going to go back to that.
Yeah,
Nick,
and
you're talking about Belmo in his match.
Yeah,
so
yes.
That was a pitch purple that he was throwing, which is a urethane ball.
Oh, it's a urethane.
But it feels a little bit more like reactive, and it feels like kind of a blend. So he said the one that he got 5 on just wasn't good. He threw it a little too hard, and he got it to the right, and the ball just never had a chance to slow down. So this is a big shot for Bill here. He hasn't had a whole lot of momentum, and he had a double to start this game, and Jay's struggling here, so this is a big shot for Billy.
Different ball.
It's a great pot. Great pitch.
PJ, when you crossed the house, did you find one end or one section of the house played easier than the others overall?
Not really. And out of everybody in this field, I probably have the most games in this center because I'm so close. I'm an hour and a half from here, and there's a decent amount of tournaments. The low end, historically for me, has always hooked more, just more overall hook. In the front, just the bodies of the lane just feel like they just hook more down there, and I don't know why. And then the higher end always feels like the ball's kind of struggling to get up the hill, like it kind of gets to that spot, and it has a tough time running the 8-pin over, if you will. So to answer your question, no, I thought the entire center played extremely difficult. And again, I haven't been comfortable yet. Even in practice, when it doesn't really matter, I never felt comfortable. So.
Yeah, I think your assessment of the building is correct. I mean, as you know from bowling here so much, whenever there's a tournament, usually it's the walkway left and right is where the action's going to be, right?
Yeah.
And that high, so you have like I call it 1 through the 40s is one center, and then 50 to like 70 is like this hybrid, and then the last 10, 12 lanes just don't get used as much. And you're right. The ball it's like it never makes it uphill on the high end.
Yep. So the very last game of qualifying, I was +5, and I bowled in the morning, so there were still 2 squads behind us. But I told myself I needed, at that point, I would have taken 200 on the dot and walked out of here and been a happy man. And Sean Ryan was behind me, helping me out, and I ended up moving 12 left and 2 balls down. So I had to go to something cleaner that was a little bit more responsive, because this pair it felt like there wasn't a drop of oil in the middle of the lane. And we had bowled, 4 games on it already. And it just felt like both lanes just were completely blown up. And so luckily I had a pretty nice finish. I bowled 223 to get in soft. But, that's how this place can be, man. You can come to some of these pairs and just kind of have air.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
See, that shot wasn't very good, but somehow it got back.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't like it.
I agree. But it seems like he's been trying to find that reaction all week, and it hasn't been there. And he maybe just found the way to do it. I mean, he's so good with his touch, and the thing that people don't give Belmo enough credit for is his ability to drop his ball speed and change his axis rotation and get the ball to make subtle changes in the spot that he wants to see it.
See that right there? That shot from Billy, that wasn't that bad. That was, but I really think it's Belmo's rev rate. I think it's his urethane that makes it can blow the pair up, and you start thinking it's you. Like, man, am I throwing it bad? Is it me? Is it the ball? Like,
well, and Belmo has moved way left, and now he's got this real steep angle with urethane, and he's dragging oil, in a spot where Bill was trying to get the ball to bounce from earlier, and now all of a sudden, 4 or 5 frames later, the ball didn't come off the spot at all, and Bill, is it me? Was it?
Yeah.
And because they're so difficult, you really don't have, like, I know at the US Open you can get lined up for a couple frames, but because they're still going to transition.
Yeah.
And so when you get lined up at the US Open, you just want to stay there forever, but they're going to transition. So probably after about 4 or 5 frames, you're going to have to move. But because, they're so difficult, you're afraid to.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I think Jason, it's a great assessment. I think for the average bowler watching today who bowls the Open Championship, it's the same feeling when you bowl team event of the Open Championship. You got an okay look, you got 3 spares and a strike, and you should move, but you don't want to because you don't want to risk it. And then the next frame you big 4, and then you move. And I felt that every year bowling the Open Championships. Like, I know what to do, I know where to move, but somehow I just don't want to do it. I'm trying to play it too safe.
Yep.
Or you maybe make a shot that's not perfect, but it's still decent, and you miss the pocket.
Yep.
But you don't move because you didn't get a read because it wasn't a perfect shot, and then you big 4 on the next shot on a good shot.
And Nick, you know what hit that has been almost impossible to get this week? There's really 2 that I haven't seen in 4 or 5 days. A trip 4,
right,
and a rolled 2 pin. Those hits are like non-existent, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the pattern. I don't know if it's the balls. I don't know why we haven't seen that. But
it's the pins.
Yeah.
They're brand new.
Okay.
Yeah, they PJ, when I bowled test patterns on lanes 3 through 9, those are the first shots bowled on those new pins. And they are absolute logs. And as you know from bowling here, the carry's not great at the stadium anyways. And so, you get one chance at knocking them down. That's it. I haven't even seen that many messengers across the deck to knock the 10 out. So it's just like it's the full penalty every time the ball goes through the pins.
Yep.
If we had the twister pins in, PJ, you could trip those twos all day.
Oh yeah, no doubt, for sure.
That's like a pocket hit.
Yeah,
right,
you could.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that shot there that Belmo threw is just so interesting and uncharacteristic. I mean, he got the last one right and it hooked off the spot, and he hated the shot. And then that one, he I don't know if he missed way left, but he might have just said, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to get away with that one again."
Yeah.
So he got it in a little bit and had no chance of holding.
I bowled Stu Williams the first match this morning, and he didn't. I don't think he split. I think every miss of his was either 8 or 9, and he made every spare. And I think he bowled like 6-10. That is the way to win this tournament. Is if your misses are 8 and 9 without any circles, you can win a lot of matches doing that.
So he moved right, different ball, right?
That was pure defense. That's because he knows that Billy's ball reaction isn't great. And Belmo was just trying to bowl 190 the last game because the chances of Billy bowling a big one are pretty slim. Billy can do it. But when you're down, when you're chasing 30 or 40 pins, and it's almost impossible to bowl 240 when a pair looks this tough.
You know, what's interesting too, PJ, is we're talking about, how bad Belmo's bowling and what a bad, mental state he's in. And, if unless something crazy happens here, he's going to make it to the final day of the Masters.
Yeah, right.
I think, and PJ, it's great having your insight just because of your relationship with Belmo. I don't get to watch him bowl enough, but he just doesn't look confident, to your point. And it could be partly the mental fatigue. And just at some point, he's going to throw a shot here, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, and he's going to get that reaction he wants. And when that happens, everyone's going to have to watch out.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it happens, it's going to be over.
He bowled next to me tonight when he bowled Brad Miller, and I feel like Brad bowled a pretty good set, and Belmo, he had him on by the throat the whole time. It never really got that close, but I saw a couple shots where Belmo's ball did the right thing and it ran over the 8-pin, and it just looked really good. And I thought, this is all the dude needs is one match, a couple shots for him to see the right thing, and it's game on. And he's got 388 for 2, and Billy's got 348 for 2 here. Because if Billy strikes on the fill, so he's going to be up by 40. See, Nick, and that right there, Billy's fill ball. That feels like the right play because you're taking right out of it, you're taking left out of it, and you're just going to try and throw some missiles up 9, 10, 11 somewhere in there, and because
that's a part of Bill's game that he's good at, right? Is that kind of missile game.
Yep, very.
So what's the score here? It's 52 under, so it's a 40-pin difference. Is that right?
Correct, 40 pins, exactly.
And I think, guys, I think both of their fill balls were pretty good. I think they're both going to throw it a little harder, kind of like that.
There it is.
Around the track area. Because they know that if they try to curve it or open up their angles at all, it's really easy to get 7, whether it's light or whether it's high. So I think they're going to shut their angles down, keep it in front of them, and
I'll tell you who would bowl really well in this pair right now is Eugene McCune.
Which Eugene McCune? Fireball?
Fireball.
Fireball, yeah. There's only 2 Eugene McCunes.
Yeah. This is not going to be a crazy prediction, but I really like Norm's chances.
Oh,
See,
gosh.
that just takes the wind out of your sails, man. Like his field ball was good, and that was a good shot, and it got 5.
I'll tell you, that match with Barnes for Duke, that was a heartbreaker because he really had the ball reaction, advantage in that match the whole way through. Barnes bowled a gritty match just to stay in it, and then that shot a big 250, just kind of firing urethane up the track, kind of like we're seeing Jason do here. But that was a tough loss for Norm. He's just bowled great all week.
He had better reaction. Chris, kudos to him for winning. It's a good pitch. He went. You gotta have these, especially in this tournament. But he had a Brooklyn and a trip 2 the first game for a double. Norm 4-9'd, and then obviously the last shot, was a break, and you got to have those. But if I'm Norm, I'm sitting there disappointed, but I mean, knowing that I think he can bowl 650 on every pair, so I'm sure he'll be a force to be reckoned with. But Jason, didn't Chris Barnes say that he was doing the old school loft and kind of hitting on it hard? That's what he was trying to do.
He was, what's the character in Major League that the old guy that's throwing the spitballs and just doing everything he can just to stay in the league? I mean, that's what felt like Barnes was doing that match.
Right.
And he always says smoke and mirrors, right? And it just felt like he was doing anything he could to hang in there, and he did. And then when he had a chance to strike, he threw one good one and then got the break. But it's just crazy how this tournament works. Even if you've got a great ball reaction, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to advance.
Oh, there it is.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So PJ, now if you're bowling now, if you're bowling, you threw 4 in a row, dead flush, basically firing it up 8. Are you thinking about your next match and going, why didn't I start there? And am I going to start the next match?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I kind of did the same thing with when I bowled Stu. The match was kind of out of reach for me, so I thought, well, shoot, I've got kind of a free look here, and I actually moved back to the right and kind of did that and thought, okay, here's my game plan for the next set. Because any type of advantage or anything that'll make you a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more loose, you have to just jump all over.
Run down some of the scores in our other matches here tonight. This isn't the only match we have going on. DJ Archer and Kyle Troop neck and neck, just starting game number 3, 9-pin difference in that match. Chris Vi, a 34-pin lead after a frame and a half on lane 7 and 8. Gary Faulkner Jr. down big to Nick Crummell, down 81 with just 7 frames left to go in the final game there. Brandon Novak with a huge lead over Anthony Lavery Spar over on lanes 15 and 16.
600's a pretty good score here, guys.
Ildemaro Ruiz has a big lead over Jerry Mars, 104 pins with 5 frames left in that match. Kyle Sherman with a 78-pin lead going into the 10th frame of game number 2 on lanes 33 and 34. On 37 and 38, Jason Sterner with a big lead over Pontus Anderson with one more game to go there. And then on our live stream pairs, Andrew Anderson taking on Maria Jose Rodriguez. He's got a 60-pin lead with just 4 frames left in that match. On 45 and 46, Brian Robinson has a 49 pin lead over Dallas Leong. We'll skip over the match we're watching here with Belmo and Bill O'Neill. But Matthew Zweig with a huge lead over Chris Martinez with just 6 frames left in that match on lanes 53 and 54. Michael Hollyman is going to take his match against Jacob Buttriff in a rematch of the 2019 final. Jacob Buttriff heading home. Norm Duke trails by 22 pins against Zach Tackett with 8 frames left in that match, and Belmo just running them off right now. Cortez Schenk with a 134 pin lead with just 6 frames left in his match. It looks like he'll advance, and Dom Barrett will be heading home. And Nathan Bohr with an 85 pin lead over Darren Tang with about half of the game left in game number 3. And last match, which is on our live stream pairs, lane 73 and 74, Francois Lavoie with a 42 pin lead over Martin Larson. So be sure to check those other matches out on Bull TV. And this one's getting late early.
Bill looks just utterly disgusted. I mean, he throws it a pinch to the right at 2 pins, and he tries to start it up to the pocket straighter, and he goes in big fours. And with multiple different pieces of equipment.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. It's so hard to get your ball to continue to do the right thing for multiple shots at a time. And also knowing that, he's down 40 going into this game. And you're almost hoping, and I might be a little guilty of this, you're almost hoping your opponent bowls terrible, because it's so hard to bowl well that you're almost just hoping, like, I hope my opponent bowls worse. Because,
and it happens too.
Yeah, like I think Stu and Jacob, the 2 guys that bowled today, they're probably pumped that I didn't bowl that great, because they could have easily bowled as bad as I did.
What do you think's going on here? I mean, Jason, he's thrown, he moved here, fill ball of the last game, and he's thrown, he threw the front 5. That one looked like he moved a little left and tried to loop it a little bit.
Yeah.
Did he just throw 6 phenomenally great shots, or does he all of a sudden have a little ball reaction here?
I think it's a little bit of that, but I also think he's able to relax. He knows that this match is over. And it's a lot easier to throw it well when you know you're going to win.
That's a good point. I mean, like you said, maybe he'll think about something tonight and come out tomorrow and just, figure out a totally different strategy and kind of hit the reset button. I wouldn't be surprised. He's really had 9 lives in this tournament so far, right? I mean, he scraped through qualifying. Barely, it looked like he was out with that open frame in the 10th frame of the last game. He lost the match against Tim Foy, which was pretty devastating, the way he lost it. But now he's found a way to cobble together a couple of wins against 2 really good players. What do you think he's going to do tonight? Do you think he's going to try to conjure up a different strategy or what?
I don't think we'll see a reactive ball come out of his bag, because you can look at this and say, he's going to go over 600 on this, and this will be his highest score. I believe. I guess he probably bowled 620 or 30 against Brad. But, it's the only way that he can control the pocket is with urethane. So I don't think he's going to change much, but I do think that he's going to try and throw it harder, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there, and just not give the pocket away.
Do you feel like if he were to bowl somebody like a Chris Prather or an EJ Tackett who's left of him with reactive, that he won't even have any impact on their ball reaction because he's so far to the right?
Potentially. It just really depends on how much he curves it. if he gets left and curves that urethane ball, then that could really destroy a pair. So, number one, so many things have to go right in a tournament like this. This really is 2 tournaments in one. Qualifying is one tournament, and then once you make it to the bracket, just like what's going on with some of these basketball games in college basketball. I mean, anything can happen. It's March Madness. So even though Belmo snuck in, dude is still the best in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody wants to bowl him tomorrow.
No way. Yeah.
Nobody's saying, "Hey, I really hope I get to bowl Belmo tomorrow."
No way.
Those were some great shots. He's made a lot of great shots this week,
Yeah.
especially when he needed it. I mean, he threw that 240 he shot that last game was an incredibly good game.
This game he's been able to throw the ball harder on both lanes, and you can just see the confidence.
Yep. And that confidence can quickly go away. Look at that.
How about
that? Wow. Thank you. I'm going to try to stay away from Bill O'Neill for a while. I don't think he's going to be too happy with me.
Well, unfortunately, PJ, you don't have that
It's going
luxury.
to be a quiet ride home, fellas.
All right, guys, this match is out of the woods. We're going to jump over to our other bonus match that we've got going down. We'll try to get Jason in for a quick conversation as soon as that match wraps up. But Chris Vi taking on Nick Pate, and this is the only way to watch it.
So Vi is up. Is that 17-18 going into this game? Is that right?
Let's see, plus 11 to plus 20. Is that 26?
Yeah, 15.
15.
15. Okay.
And then has added a little bit to the
Chris
lead
has
here
the
this
lead
game.
halfway through. So just based on where Chris is starting, it's telling me he's keeping it in front of him. He's not shaping it much. Yeah. Uh-oh. That's not good.
Oh, the Barnes 2-pin roll.
There it is, Nick.
There it is. Same lane.
And that shot there, as good as Chris is, it looked like he just bailed out of it. He wasn't committed to it. At this point in the match, right, he's up 15. He just doesn't want to open because based on Nick's last 4 frames, maybe Nick's ball reaction's getting a little worse. Looks like Nick is farther left than Chris. Quite a bit farther left.
Oh.
Nick, looking at this pattern, because I look at those graphs, and you can definitely take some stuff out of it, but it doesn't reveal everything. But that shot that Nick just had, it looks like it got to the spot. It got just to the either right on top of that rangefinder, or maybe just a hair to the right of it, and the ball just never slowed down. It looked like it just kept picking up speed and could never get around the corner. And I think he liked it. I think it was a pretty good shot. Yeah, Chris just needs to stay clean here, and he's gonna move on to tomorrow. This is where defense comes in. He's not necessarily looking for a double. A double would be huge, but single pin spare is totally fine. Hi, Bill.
Are we on? Is this thing on? So I can't hear him.
Yeah, you can hear
I can
me.
barely hear myself.
Yeah.
It's a good setup, Jason. 2021. Can't hear through headphones.
I can hear you, Bill.
I'll just
Can you hear me?
like this?
Yeah, there you go.
PJ, if I bowled an infinite amount of 3-game sets on that pair, I wouldn't have bowled 600. There he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Yeah.
Snick.
Hey, Bill.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. One more week on your patterns, my hair's going to look like yours.
Well, it had to get like this somehow, so that's what happens. Yeah. That didn't look very fun.
No, he did the right thing. He wrecked the pair with the urethane ball, and that's the beauty of a 3-game match or best of matches is that he's playing offense and also playing defense at the same time, and the urethane ball just completely wrecked any chance I had at really anything. If I got it going to the right at all, it could do anything. It could go light. It could miss the head pin. If I overhit it, it goes high. There was really nothing I could do out there. I even tried my own urethane balls, and that didn't work. And I'm glad to be done.
When I turned on practice, he's throwing left like 15 to the gutter with the urethane, and I saw you throw some charcoal like straight up 7, and it just was going to be ugly from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I played 7, I played 10, 13, 16, 19, 21, and all the boards in between that. Just did nothing. Still nothing. I should have tried like 38. Would that have worked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
You threw that fill ball in the 10th and dead flushed it, and we all thought, okay, here it goes. And then your second frame on that right lane, you peered it and it big forward or it went through the face, I think, or went light, one of the two. But we all just couldn't believe it looked like you threw it great, and it just didn't do the same thing twice.
Yeah, it was your fill ball game 2, and then your first shot of game 3 was a great.
Yeah,
shot.
and that's what happens when you can't get in the right spot against urethane. You can hook early, and then if it gets through that spot, it can stand up down the lane. So my fill ball looked good, and then the first frame I yanked it a little bit, and it got 5, and then the one in the second I threw it really good, and you could just see it stand up and then go dead straight and ring 10. And so from that point, I can't do that anymore. I can't use that ball, and because if the little left is 5 and a good one's a ring 10, then what am I doing?
What's this match at now?
I think it's pretty much over.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, I think Nick is out of wood here. He's down 15 going into this game, and Chris has got a double going into the 10th. So
Bill, if you didn't have Belmo with the urethane, if you weren't bowling him, where would you have ideally wanted to play tonight?
I actually been feeling like my ball reaction was okay for most of the tournament and the matches, and just feeling pretty locked up. I'm not throwing it very good. So, in the second match when I bowled Toby, I missed a couple spares, and and it just making too many poor shots, and hopefully just take a few days off here and just mentally reset before the U.S. Open, and hopefully start making some better shots.
Are the Nuggets playing tonight as well?
No, that's a one hitter for us, the Nuggets. We had the Mavs earlier, though. I'm going to be I'm retiring from bowling, and I'm going to be an NBA handicapper.
Yeah,
because I'm hot. I mean, listen, we bet like $10 a game, so it's not we're not gamblers.
No,
we just like to yell at the TV. I basically just like to tell everyone that I'm right and I'm good at betting basketball. So the money's actually inconsequential.
Hey guys, going to jump in real quick here. Zach Tackett missed the washout in the 10th, and Norm's going to have a chance to double to win this one.
having to double on this pattern right now to win a match is very difficult.
Oh, he posted it too. Oh, he loved it.
Oh.
I'm a little salty right now, and we're on a bit of a delay, and I saw that 4-pin before it was on the screen, so yeah. I almost spoiled it, but that shows growth for myself.
Yeah,
younger me would have ruined that for
Proud
everyone.
of you, William. Also, for the people at home, he crossed relatively close to me. He was a couple pairs away. He bowled like 200 over for qualifying, and he was playing 4-5 with a super shiny ball and just never giving the pocket away. And now that this is the third game of two guys on a pair, so the lanes theoretically shouldn't transition that much because Norm's rev rate isn't extremely high, and now he's into almost fourth arrow. Tells you how different this pattern can play from one day to the next.
I think it might have something to do with the fact that the lanes were oiled, a few hours ago and sat for quite a long time. I think that plays a part here, and to see Norm playing that deep on this when he really hasn't been that far left at all in this tournament it says something about what was out there.
Bill, that's a good point. That can affect it. It's especially at the bowling stadium where you have, the ceilings are so high, the air conditioning, the heat in the building. It's the dust, the dirt on the lane is what causes that friction from it sitting there. So you're right. Them sitting 30 minutes versus 2 hours, they're going to have more dirt on them, and they're going to hook quicker.
Yeah, you could really feel it. I mean, I could really feel how early the fronts were going, especially for me. That then transition against the urethane ball, which chews them up even more in the front. That's what that's what can happen with the urethane in a couple hours of sitting around.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our coverage today. I'm going to put everybody on the spot as we wrap up here. First off, big thanks to joining us here on Bowl TV. Predictions for tomorrow. Who is your one lock for the show? Gonna make it tough here. PJ, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna say Barnes, and that's not a super risky pick, but I think he's. I had a conversation with him earlier. And I've seen him bowl a little bit. He looks super sharp. He looks like he's doing the right thing. And also to beat Norm, that he did like he did earlier, a couple of breaks went his way. That can go a long way in a tournament like this. So I'll go Barney.
All right, Bill, we'll throw it to you.
I haven't really looked at the bracket, so I don't know who's bowling who. But I'm gonna go with Prather.
Prather's been tough. He's got facing off against Thomas Larson first thing tomorrow morning. Both of them have been putting up some numbers in match play, but definitely a great pick as well. Nick, how about you?
I'm going to channel my inner Brett Wolf and say Spencer's going to shock the world and make it to the show as an 18-year-old, throwing the black hammer straight as hard as he can.
Well, there we go. That's I like it. 3 great choices, guys. 32 players left in the field as we wrap things up here tonight. So once again, a big thanks for joining us here. We'll let you guys take off here, but thanks again for joining us here on Bull TV.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. All right, everybody. That's going to take care of business here for today. All of our featured pairs have completed their action, so we are going to go ahead and shut things down for the night. But want to thank Nick, want to thank PJ, want to thank Bill for stopping in there as well. Really a phenomenal day, kind of getting to see everything shape up here. And we're down to 32 players, 16 in the winners bracket, 16 in the elimination bracket as well. So I got my schedule here somewhere. There it is. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. local time in Reno tomorrow. We're going to kick things off once again. And by the time we finish up, we will have our 5 players for the FS1 TV final on Sunday. That's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to mark your calendars, set your alarms, all that good stuff. But for our whole crew on the USBC side working on site this week, all the folks assisting here remotely, the NBS staff, always so great. Always love working at the Taj Mahal at 10 Pins. For the folks here on Bull TV and social media as well. So Kim Richter, Caitlin Nelson, Mike Flanagan from Inside Bowling, JT, Jason Thomas, Matt Canizaro. I'm Aaron Smith. We're signing off for today, folks. But once again, have a fantastic rest of the evening. The bracket's starting to shape up. Be sure to check out the final results on bull.com/masters. And that's going to do it. So thank you again for joining us here on Bull TV. We're looking forward to tomorrow. Get down to that top 5. But folks, for now, have a great rest of your Friday evening. And remember, on Bull TV, bowling lives here. Take care, everybody.